I start off the day by putting some silicone around that gasket, around each of the holes there, and around this side. With this right here, you know, the player, this is why you take the backing plate off. Player screws this up constantly, whether it be the silicone part or right here. So we're gonna have to put some silicone on this side and then just get in there with a pick or something and pull back on this gasket so it seats right. Start with that. Got the clutches all cleaned up, and then we kind of got the snorkel mocked out. We're gonna stick with 1.5 inch, just because it just seems to work better. I mean, 1.5 will go into that boot better. This we're gonna use probably like a stock rubber hose, and then put it on the inlet, and then kind of do our own thing with it. And I don't know how people are putting the snorkels in between the roll cage and the seat here. I mean, you got to be smushing your snorkels when you do it that way. So that's where we're at right now. We're gonna get the belt cover back on, and then we start mocking up some snorkels. Torque this down to 17. Okay, go. Oh. No. Can't do it while I'm filming. Okay, so I guess I'll stop filming. There you go. 40 foot-pounds on the primary, which we did. Check this out. You got the torque bar, or the crowbar right here, and it just wraps around the frame. Pull it out, and there you go. Belt's done, so now we're going to put it back on the belt box, and we'll get going with the snorkels. And it is the Gates carbon belt, which is, what is that, 9G3, I don't know, it's whatever. I'll put it in the description. Alright, and there's kind of our first thing for the belt intake. Super sweet and simple. Yeah, once we get these turned a little bit, just mock up. And all that is 1.5 inch little section tied down on the clamp there. 22.5, go up to maybe what, a 6-7 inch pipe, another 22.5, and then we'll go up from there. And what we're gonna do is add rubber Fernco boots to this so we can change out the height. So whenever he quits being a little girl, we can go all the way up to the roof on it, and then whenever he's going hunting, he can go down to here. So, but yeah, that should actually work. Now, as long as the bed will come down, which it should, you know, we're gonna cut the bed out because it doesn't stick out that far. So we'll see. All right, so this is what we got for the air intake. It's super easy. This hose right here, I think was the stock one that goes from this airbox intake over to that little other secondary airbox. So all we did is we notched this out right here and notched this out right here, because like I said, you can take the airbox and spin it. So when you do that, this that's for like the sportsman and stuff. I guess this is the other crankcase breather, or for the oil, the other oil reservoir tank. Anyway, so then all you do is you put this on there, you run it up, put 1.5 inch pipe in there, and then that's gonna sit exactly where we want it to. I mean, you can't get any easier than that. So, got the air intake done, the belt intake, and now we're gonna go to Lowe's and we gotta get the Fernco for this. It's just a 2.5 to 2.5. I'm gonna go 90, 90, 90, 45, and then 45 up. And then that'll give us all three of our snorkels right here. And then obviously the one for right there, there, and then the air intake. So yeah, almost done. This is probably one of the easier snorkels I've done, especially with having the bed removed. Like I've said many times, you can get to everything so much easier. And we also got to get vent lines. So definitely the way to do it. All right, it's been a little bit, not sure exactly where I left off, but now we are starting to route the belt exhaust. We had to go to Lowe's and get some supplies, and so this is where we are at so far, routing that out and around. The belt is all done and siliconed and put back on there. Silicone works. Trust in player's gasket doesn't. Got this one all done, like I said, just up through here. That's about where they're gonna be sitting. We're still not sure on this whole the angle there, but he is gonna be keeping it outside a little bit, so he needs something to keep the rain out of the snorkels. And then once these get all buttoned up in there, that's where they'll be. Okay, cutting forward a little bit here. We got the snorkels on. Definitely not finished. Don't freak out yet. But all three. We went with 1.5 inch just because that's what the factory ones kind of were, except for the belt snorkel. But the belt exhaust is a whole lot shorter. The air intake is a whole lot shorter. I mean, so you got 1.5 inch straight down to the air box versus all the way to the front through the accumulator and then back in the air box. So that's gonna be plenty. Lift this up. Like I said, nothing's finished yet. We just kind of mocked it up. That right there is everything that has to be cut out. Took out this tube, and that tube, and cut out a little section right there. And everything that's cut out right here was all symmetrical to the body lines, so that's perfect. There's our final snorkels. I'll take the bed off and get better lighting here in a second. But yeah, I mean, that's what you need to cut out. We still got about 1 inch or about 1/2 inch between this bed right here and this section right here. So when it all closes and everything, I mean, that's our tolerances for right now without it being all buttoned down. So we are making great progress on that. All right, so we're working on the oil filter change right now. Got a new oil filter, new oil on there. We're gonna dielectric grease some plugs because all these snorkel pieces are drying right now. We're gonna slap those on, get our final height. We're gonna cut that one right there, add a burn coat boot on there so we can adjust the height. Finish up his vent lines. Vent lines, kind of a weird subject because I don't like using this clear stuff, but Lowe's and everything is making it so difficult to use the black fuel lines that I've been using because it's like $17 for a line, like a 10-foot roll of it, and it's just not worth it now. I mean, you can just route these away, replace these if you need to, keep an eye on them, and it's going to be just fine. It's just not worth it. Got to silicone up this, make sure all of our clamps are tight, zip tie everything up, button it up, and then we'll be done with the snorkels here in just a few minutes. And then, like I said, we're going to dielectric grease plugs, this one, that one, those, everything. So that's what we're going to be working on next, and then pretty soon we'll be able to finish up this little project for today. We're gonna mount up the tires real quick, and yeah, I mean, this thing's going smooth. I'd do these all day long versus a razor, or definitely before Can-Am. So yep, that's where we're at.